my speech. Phil, the frying pan's on fire.
Shut up, Jarrell! Everybody stay calm!
Dad, I'm going to teach myself how to juggle.
Good for you, buddy.
Mom! No one heard me screaming. I've been trapped in the garage for like 20 minutes. And yet still you didn't get the rat traps I sent you for. Thank you. Honey, it's doing it again.
Come on now, every morning.
I have the whole house on down.
Having a bad time?
Come back in 7 years and 5 months when they're all gone.
With a modern family of his own, our next guest went looking for some 21st century advice on how to manage the chaos within his own clan, but when he wasn't happy with what he found. So rather than turning to traditional experts, he interviewed creative thinkers, including Green Berets, Silicon Valley techies, and the people behind ABC's smash hit Modern Family. And from that came the new and improved family self-help book that includes more than 200 new tips to help families run easier, smoother, and happier. In the guest spot today, and at the table, no less, New York Times columnist and best-selling author Bruce Fieler. He wrote The Secrets of Happy Families, Improve Your Mornings, Rethink Family Dinner, Fight Smarter, Go Out and Play, and much more. Welcome.
Great to be with you, SC, everybody else.
So, because I know you, I know that you are a man who likes to do things. You take action. You wanted to walk the Bible. You walked the Bible and then wrote about it. You were diagnosed with cancer. You wanted to think about how, fatherly lessons were going to be passed down to your daughters. You created a council of dads and then wrote about it. What are the secrets to happy families, and how did you go out and do this?
Well, first of all, the frustration, as you mentioned, and as we've been discussing here at the table, parents are frustrated. We were incredibly chaotic. I wrote about happy families not because I had one, but because I wanted one. And the other thing that every parent discovers is there's this straitjacket the parents in, that the only ideas can come from the family improvement industry, whereas in all these other areas that you've been mentioning, there are these new ideas about how to make groups and teams work. I wanted to go out there, find out what those parents are doing, test them with my own wife.
So what is the Green Beret guide to the perfect family vacation?
Well, we would have these family reunions in my family, and all the families would retreat to separate corners. Who's better at bringing different people together than the military? They've studied it, actually, for 50 years, unit cohesion, and they were saying what you need to do is make teams, different generation. Nothing makes an us better than a them. And, in these teams, they write cheers, they have names, and you're bringing people together. I mean, one of the things that the research is very clear about, I'm looking at you because I know you're about to have your second child, is that parents should spend less time worrying about the bad things and more time focusing on the good things. You make these positive memories, they outweigh the negative ones.
Fascinating.
Good to hear.
And I guess you write about the value of teaching kids about sort of where they come from, the family they come from, lessons maybe they could take from ancestors.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, is there a limit to that if you have sort of embarrassing stories in your family past? Do you try to keep those away from your kids, or do you try to gloss them over a little bit?
The more embarrassing, the more painful, the better. This actually, I think, is maybe the single most interesting thing in this book. Researchers at Emory gave kids a do-you-know test. Do you know where your grandparents were born, where your parents went to high school, somebody who had an uncomfortable or difficult situation like an illness they overcame? Kids who scored highest on this test had the higher self-esteem, greater... It was the number one predictor of a child's well-being, because they have a sense they're part of a larger story. So you want to tell not only your family's positive moments, but even more important, the difficult moments and how they overcame them. So that when kids face their own inevitable hurdles, they have the confidence, my relatives got through it, I can get through it too.
Well, Bruce, part of where those stories come from is family dinner. I remember hearing a lot of those sort of things when my family were grouped together. When I was growing up, I know we get a lot done in terms of that family bonding stuff and spreading those family stories. When I put my kids together with my wife, we're all eating together. So why are you asking us to rethink family dinner? That's a really important part of the whole family life, isn't it?
If there's one thing we've heard, it's that family dinner is really important, Tori. I had it growing up, sounds like you did also. But a lot of us, it doesn't work in our schedules. My wife doesn't even come home until 6:30. Dig deeper, though, the news is better for parents. It turns out there's only 10 minutes of productive, meaningful conversation in any meal. The rest is taken up with take your elbows off the table and pass the ketchup. You can take that 10 minutes, put it at any time of day, have the benefits. So have family breakfast, meet for a bedtime snack. Even one meal on the weekends has benefits. The point is time shifting. We do it at work. We do it with our TV shows now. You can time shift family dinner. As long as you're having those 10-minute blocks, you're forming the bond that will be helpful as your kids head out into the world.
Well, like your other books, this one is already flying off the shelves. I'm so jealous. Bruce Fieler, thanks so much for joining us. We